Hi, I'm Bree. If you're new here, I'm the artist behind astitchingwitch, which is an embroidery and crochet fiber arts brand. I've been in business for 6 years, and today I'll be showing you everything I've crocheted with patterns for FanExpo Chicago, which is in 2 days. It's been a long time. We haven't talked in a little bit, so glad to have you guys back around. I had some content planned for July, and my markets consistently got rained out, canceled, etc. And so I ended up just locking into FanExpo prep full speed ahead and haven't had time to film much since Pride. So I'm finally back. It feels great to be back after this. Okay, the drama. After this, I will be filming my FanExpo Chicago vlog, so be sure to keep an eye out for... You are so cranky. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. After my FanExpo Chicago vlog, I should be full speed ahead through the fall. I've got lots of great things planned, so I will finally have lots and lots of consistent content for you guys again. Thank you guys for coming back around and waiting for me after my very small and unexpected hiatus in the summer. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. I will have all of the patterns and pattern creators in the description box below, as well as some of my own patterns and a couple things that I freehanded, but I am working on patterns for. So if you're interested in pattern testing for me, be sure to give me a follow at astitchingwitch on Instagram, where I post all of my pattern tester calls. Don't look at my sweatpants, we're not talking about them. It's been a long 2 weeks of crunch time, so we are comfy. We are filming comfy today. So if you're unfamiliar with FanExpo Chicago, it is a pop culture convention, so it's going to be a little bit different from my last crochet video I did, which was, I'll put it up here, everything I crocheted for MoMoCon. MoMoCon is a much more anime-centered convention, whereas FanExpo casts a much wider net with the fandoms that it's reaching out to. They do have a handful of anime voice actors that will be there, but they are pulling, especially this year, a lot of celebrities from a lot more of a broad range of interests. I do feel like I'm a little underprepared stock-wise. I feel that I should have made more. It is a 3-day event with about 70,000 people, so it is very, very high trafficked, but at the same time, I did feel myself reaching a point of burnout to where I just figured it would be best to protect myself a little bit going into this weekend instead of running myself so far into the ground that by the time I get to the convention, I don't have the energy to perform at my best, because at the end of the day, being at the convention is the best part of my job. I absolutely adore it, and so I want to make sure that I have the stamina to get through it without dying halfway through, coming home with con crud, any of that stuff. So we're just gonna go ahead and go piece by piece. I will let you know what I thought about the pattern, if I had any like really notable thoughts about it. And because I am an embroidery artist as well, I feel that I can let my embroidery carry a lot of the stock for me at this event too. That way I'm not prone to selling out completely, running out of stock altogether. Even if my crochet sells or sells out, like I will still have that buffer to where I feel more at peace with the fact that I could have probably crammed in a few more things if I had really pushed myself. So I'm gonna go ahead, just like I did with my last crochet video, and start off with the patterns that I have written myself. I will have to dig them out of my pile. Give me just a second. We do have one that's right on top, which you will recognize from my last anime convention prep video, and that is my Chao pattern. And I'm biased, I wrote the pattern, but I just think he's so cute and precious. I have been such a Sonic the Hedgehog girly my whole life, and Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, where they introduced the Chao Gardens, were peak content. And so I could not resist the opportunity to make Chao. If you looked at my MoMoCon video, you'll see that I also have a pattern modification for this guy for the light and the dark versions, the hero and the dark Chao. So if you're interested in all three, they come as a bundle on my Etsy account. I will have it linked in the description below. Shameless promo, sometimes you gotta do it. But here's my handsome man. He has been pattern tested. All of the patterns I show you that I personally wrote myself have been pattern tested, so they are all secure, ready, good to go. This is the last time I will refer to a previous crochet video. In my previous crochet video, I showed you guys that I had free-handed a Club Penguin plushie and asked if anybody would be interested in the pattern. Well, all of this time has passed. I did end up finishing the pattern, putting it out, getting it pattern tested, all of that good stuff. So if you are interested in making your own Club Penguin plushie, he is also officially live on my Etsy. He was pattern tested by 9 amazing artists, and he is so cute. Most of them said that he worked up in about 2 hours or so, which in my opinion makes him very market prep friendly, and he's so squishy, so plump. So yeah, it's my party penguin crochet pattern. When I'm market prepping to this degree and trying to be really efficient with my time, it's hard to write a pattern from scratch. So a lot of times I will kind of jot down notes as I go, but I won't finish the pattern until I have time to sit down and revisit it in the future, which is what happened with my Club Penguin pattern last time. So with all of that being said, if you guys think that I should write a pattern for Okaroon, please let me know. I am honestly so proud of how he came out. I feel like he was a little unorthodox in the way I did some of the parts, so I definitely need to sit down and give him like a real overhaul to make sure that it's like a sensible, logical pattern that other people would want to work on. But I think he's so cutie pie, and I am just a huge Dan fan, and even though this isn't a big anime convention, I feel like it's popular enough that I really just couldn't resist working on him. So that's my Okaroon plushie that was free-handed. I do have one more freehand in this batch, which the same applies. I would love to sit down, rework it to make it better, because I do think that this is missing some elements that I would like it to have if I were to actually release it as a finished pattern. But in the meantime, this is what I was able to come up with in a short period of time. Get the fuzzies off of her, and that is my MaoMao plushie. I do feel like there's a few things I would like to do differently in the future with her. I don't think she is 100% exactly how I would like her to be, but again, this was just something I freehanded because I really wanted to make her, and I would love to sit down and better this pattern in the future and have it actually be something that I would want to put on my Etsy and sell to you guys. So now, enough of me telling you I'm going to offer you patterns and then proceeding to show you things I freehand. From here on out, these all have finished patterns, and you can grab them from the creators as soon as you're done watching this video. So thank you for entertaining me while I yapped about my cuties right here, my little babies. I have another Naruto that I'll be taking to FanExpo. I feel like the hardest part about storing all of your plushies together is that the fuzzies just stick to each other from all the loose thread. Yeah, so I made Naruto, and he will be one of my bigger plushies at the event. Up next, I have Luffy from One Piece. He's so cute, and he worked up pretty quick considering all of the details. I absolutely think he will get adopted. And in that same vein, I have a chopper in here as well, using the same chopper pattern that I have been using for a lot of my cons lately. I did only make one this time, but we've got both of these babies. I'll put them up together. I think it'll be really cute. I do have one pattern in this stack that I don't want to say I don't recommend it because that seems unfair, but I felt like this pattern was unfinished. I don't know, just a lot of the notes you would expect to find in a finished pattern tested pattern were missing. Made Gulliver from Animal Crossing. He's sleeping like he's on the beach. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. I wanted to love this pattern, I really did. I just feel like it was missing a few crucial notes and pieces of information on several of the pages that would have made it a more seamless plushie to work on. I consider myself a relatively advanced crochet artist, so I was able to get through it with no issues, but I just feel like the pattern needed a little bit more to it to work up as easily as it should have, if that makes sense. But he's, oh, he's so handsome, he's so cute. As I'm sure you are all on the craze, just like I am. As a huge K-pop girly, I could not resist making the tiger from K-pop Demon Hunters. I did procrastinate this one until I literally finished this today, and as soon as I'm done filming this, I'm loading up my car. So this is a very last minute addition to my catalog, but I mainly just put it off because I knew all of the felt facial details were gonna eat up a lot of time and be kind of tricky. I told myself I wasn't gonna make him, but I did, and at the end of the day, I'm glad I did because he's so derpy and cute. Like, oh my god, he's so cute. I love how floppy he is. I like that you can pose him to lay, you can pose him to sit. I really just feel like my cat's shredding my couch. Girl, can you stop being a gremlin? Stop it. So typically I try to refrain from making a ton of Pokemon, but because this is more of a pop culture type vibe instead of an anime type vibe, I thought that this would be a really good opportunity to play around with some new Pokemon patterns that I hadn't had a chance to try yet. So up next, I made a Magikarp, which I just think he is hilarious. This was such a fun pattern to work on. I feel like it was very well written, and all the little pieces and parts were really unique in the way they worked up, and I really love when a pattern is refreshing like that. So made a Magikarp. I had a lot of fun with him. If I had had more time, I probably would have made a couple more. That was a big trend with this event, is that I wanted to make multiples of a lot of things, and I just, as per usual, I ran out of time. So got one Magikarp, and he's so cute. Another Pokemon that I worked on with a new pattern is Coughing, Wheezing, Coughing. This is Coughing. Wheezing is the multiples, or is it the other way around? I always mix them up. Anyway, he's so cute. Another new pattern that I worked on were these Polytoads. Ooh, hello. They were so fun. They work up so quick. I'm such a fan. I ended up making 4 of these, I believe. I made 4 of these, which I feel like this was kind of a random Pokemon to make, but I don't know, something about them, they were just so cute. And so I figured because they were small, they would work up really easy, and I really wanted to try them out. So hopefully they perform well. I really enjoyed making these. This was a very fun pattern. Up next, I made a bunch of Snugglers, but my toxic trait is that every time I make a Snuggler, I stuff it anyway, because you know, Snugglers are typically unstuffed. I can't help it, I stuff them every time. So I have weirdly chunky Snugglers. I made a Mudkip. He's so cute. His little face details, his big old eyes. So I made a Mudkip. I made a Charmander. I made a Bulbasaur. Oh my gosh, some of these are so fuzzy. I think I ran out of light blue before I had a chance to make the Squirtle, but I think they're so cute. There's just something about how like squishy it is when you half stuff a Snuggler that just, I don't know. I just think they're adorable, and I like how big their eyes are. You get all the little details. So these were a lot of fun. They use half double crochet on the stomach, which means they worked up super, super fast. So this is a great option for market prep as well, in my opinion. Now, my big showstopper of the weekend that I'm doing, normally I will do a really big appa as my big showstopper, but I just didn't get around to it this time. Last FanExpo Chicago, my appa was one of the only plushies that came home with me, surprisingly, which they do have a lot of the Atla cast there this year, but I opted to make some little appa instead of one big one. Anyway, all of that is to say, I have a new focal piece this time. I made a giant drift loop. It's so cute, and the top is fuzzy, which was a nightmare, but it's fine because he just looks so good. Like, are you joking me? And this one, as well as the Polytoads and the Coughing, Wheezing, God, I should have double checked before I started filming, are all from the same pattern creator, Ghost Kitty Crochet, and these are some of the most thorough, well-written patterns I have ever worked on. And I own like 150 patterns, so I'm telling you, the time, love, and care that they put into writing these patterns is so tangible throughout the process. And I mean, this is a big boy. I spent a lot of time combing through that pattern, and genuinely, it was phenomenal. I feel like I would trust her with absolutely any pattern after my experience working on these patterns for this convention. So if you're ever looking for just like a really excellent pattern creator, Ghost Kitty Crochet is S tier. So I'm really excited to have this one sitting like up and having the legs like draped high up where everybody can see from a mile away. Just like my last convention, I went ahead and remade some more of these little bitty Psyduck. I think since my last time posting about these, the pattern got removed, or it used to be a free pattern. I think that maybe she took it down and now it's a paid pattern. Not entirely sure. I will go and look for it, of course, when I am putting all these patterns in the description and see what I can find out. But this pattern is a lot of fun. It works up really quick as well. Now, I didn't make any more of these, but I do have one Pikachu left over from MomoCon. They did very okay, so I didn't feel overly compelled to make more, but this is a free pattern as well, so I will of course have that linked. And it's very, very great for a free pattern, and honestly, it's so cute. Sometimes I just feel like Pikachu is a little bit overhyped. You know, like he's been the favorite for so long that I think that a lot of people who want Pikachu merch have Pikachu merch. So do with that what you will, but I have one that will be coming with me. I'm realizing I actually made a lot of Pokemon this time. Next up, I have a Snorlax, and he was a free pattern as well. He worked up great. He was a lot of fun. I love his little toe beans. There was a lot of toe beans. There we go. There was a lot of versatility in this pattern to do different things with his feet, his face, whatever you're feeling. I went for the classic sleepy eyes. So yeah, Eevees. This is a free pattern. I believe it's a pattern, free pattern mod to a different free pattern. I will have linked for you guys. They're so cute, and I feel like Eevee is always a crowd pleaser, so to offer a smaller, less pricey variant of Eevee, I think is a win. We're gonna say I made 3, oh, hi Dumpling. I did completely lint roll and clean my couch and my space before pulling these plushies out. All of a sudden my pets are just flocking to me. That's how it always goes. So I think that finally does it for my Pokemon that I made for this event. There is a very large focus on Avatar: The Last Airbender. They pulled like 5 of the original voice cast, so I did put a little bit of extra time into, it's ironic, it's the one time I didn't make my giant appa, but I did put a lot of extra focus in some more options for my Avatar plushies. Dumpling, we're not getting in the bag. So this time instead of appa, I made a MaoMao. And I have tried some other MaoMao patterns in the past. Last year, I made, his ears got a little stuck, there we go. Last year, I made a MaoMao with a different pattern, and he ended up being so top heavy because of his ears, and it took forever to work up. And so I ended up opting for a new pattern, and I like this one a lot more than the one I used last year. I feel like it gives him so much personality. I love how floppy the ears are. I like that he's real wiggly, like, that's pretty cute. So I'm really excited to see him find a home since there will be so many Avatar lovers in this space this weekend. And so in lieu of making all of my really big appa pieces, I made these little tiny cute small ones. The pattern is free. Be sure to check the description and the comments when you're working on this pattern. There are some typos in the pattern that had to get resolved either in the comments or in the description, which is a little bit confusing, but you know, it's free pattern, so it's hard to complain when you're still able to successfully make these little cuties. But yeah, there's just something to be mindful of when you're working up to save yourself some frogging. Like, be sure to double check all of the comments for like 2 or 3 rows that had some edits made after posting. But these will be my little budget-friendly appas. Next up, the last thing I made for my Avatar: The Last Airbender fans were the turtle ducks, which I have been wanting to make for so long, and for whatever reason, I just never get around to it. They always fall to the back of the my to-be-made list when I'm prepping for an event. So when I saw the focus they were putting on Avatar this year, I knew it was finally time to lock in and make the turtle ducks. I've heard great things about this pattern from other crochet artists. I've heard that it sells really well. I've heard that they really struggle to keep them in stock. I did only make 2 because I think I was running out of I think I ran out of the green or something, I don't know. But I'm really excited to see how they perform since they're just so cute. I feel like it's merch that's a lot harder to find typically. It's a little bit more niche, but since we're targeting that fan base at this event already, I think that it'll be great, so. Turtle duck. So I did make a no face. A classic is a classic for a reason. It's a really good size. I based it with some cardboard so that he stands up a little bit better. He's a little bit more flat. But yeah, this is a great pattern. I've been making this one for years. It always sells, so definitely a good one to consider. I feel like Spirited Away especially is so recognizable for a lot of fans, even casual fans, so it's a good one. Up next, I have another free pattern for you, and that is Ponyo! I have never made Ponyo before. I've always kind of wanted to. She is one of my personal favorites out of the Ghibli movies. So when I found this free pattern for her, I could not resist. She comes in her little bucket. You can either nestle her inside like you're gonna carry her, or you can have her poking out at an angle like this, which I just think is so cute. Like, are you joking me? And the fact that it's a free pattern is just the cherry on top. It works up very, very quick. So this is another super great option. Maybe I'll go back and add blush on her face. What do y'all think? You think she needs blush? Might give her a little blush, but my little Ponyo. I feel like I just get on this camera and start yapping. Am I yapping too much? I guess I have to yap, right? So jumping ship again into something a little different. Last year they had a lot of Star Wars cast, and they are doing that again this year. So I decided to lean into it a little bit more than I usually would. Last year I made these little like pocket-sized Grogu's, Baby Yodas, you know, and I could not keep them in stock. I could not keep them in stock. Like, I was trying to make them throughout the weekend, and I just kept, like, I'd put it down and it would sell immediately. I told myself I was gonna make way more this year, but I ran out of the yarn. Are you sensing a pattern? I ran out of the yarn. I have some other green yarns, but I just felt like they were the wrong shade of green, and I don't want them to feel like a knockoff, you know? Like, just because I have a green doesn't mean it'll have the same impact as having the right green. Even this one, this shade is a little bit bright. I feel like I could have gone with a little bit more muted, but worked with what I had. I did make 6 of these. Yeah, I made 6 of these. I think that's how many I made last year, and I think I made 3 more throughout the con and they all sold. So in a perfect world, I would make like 15 of these, but I always have this expectation for myself that I'm gonna make so many things, and it just, I never, ever will be able to make the volume of things that I tell myself I will, and still have my sanity at the end of the day, you know? Oh, so this year I did go ahead and also make a big, I thought this was supposed to be Yoda, but then I started looking at his clothes as I made him, and I'm pretty sure this one is Grogu as well. You tell me, I'm pretty sure this is Grogu. This is a free pattern as well, I'm pretty sure, so like, banger. There were a lot of different free and paid pattern options for this little guy, and I just opted for a free pattern for obvious reasons. It was very thorough. It was a great pattern. One thing I really liked about this pattern that made me choose it compared to other patterns is that he is working with flat ears that are worked in the rows instead of big tubed ears that are worked in a magic ring and then flattened down, which saved me a lot of time in terms of working up the plushie, which I think is really important when you're market prepping. You gotta pay attention to the plushies and parts of plushies that are gonna eat up time. So that was one of the main reasons I chose this pattern, and I'm really glad I did because I am a big fan of how it turned out. I hope y'all can't see all of these little fuzzies on camera as much as I can see them in person, because I didn't realize how badly I needed to hit them with a lint roller to get all of the yarn fluff off until I put them in front of these big bright studio lights. So I'm a professional, I swear. Next up, we're almost done. We're almost done. I used to make the big sleeping Kirby with the nightcap that you see a lot of pattern creators make, but first of all, it takes forever to work up. It takes forever to work up. I made these little Kirby's, and they're so cute. Tell me which one you like more, mouth or no mouth, because I could not decide. These were a free pattern as well. I think it was supposed to be acrylic yarn for either a keychain or a car hanger or something similar, but I made them a blanket yarn instead, and I found that they are the perfect size for like a really accessible small market plushie, so these were great. The only thing about this pattern that eats a little bit of time is that you do have to make 2 of each star to secure them together, and you have to be really careful the angle in which you sew them down onto the stars to make sure that they sit the right way, but I had a lot of fun making these. I'm looking at them now and I kind of wish I had made more, so do with that what you will. For the Pikmin, I thought I made 6, but it appears that I only made 5. This is an excellent pattern. Like, through and through, this is an excellent pattern. I do think right now that the pattern creators Etsy is temporarily not taking orders. I think she's taking a little bit of a break right now. I will link it just in case, or for when it comes back on. I have found that in markets, the flower tops perform the best. So I made more flower top versions than non-flower top. I was supposed to make another red one. I thought that I did, but it's looking like I didn't. So I guess we're rocking with 5 instead of 6. So 5 Pikmin. When I say I leaned into the con a little bit and decided to make some things that I wouldn't typically make, this was one of the big ones I was referring to. This was a last minute addition to the inventory list. There are so many Marvel and superhero related things that are gonna be at this event, and I don't wanna buy a bunch of Marvel patterns. I don't wanna dabble in that territory. I don't wanna buy a bunch of patterns that I'm only gonna use once and then not again. But I did make one exception for these little guys because I just thought they would be cute and fun and quick. And that is the Spider-Man. I made 3 of them. I'm gonna hang them from my booth upside down like this. I think they'd be great for car hangers, or I don't know, whatever you wanna use them for. Great for your kid to swing them around, I don't know. Oh my God, why did I do that? but I made 3 of these just to like kind of appease the crowd that I don't normally pull into my booth. So we'll just put them out there and see what happens. Whew, I'm winded. I feel like I have been yapping nonstop for 40 minutes. So yeah, in conclusion, that is everything I crocheted for FanExpo Chicago. If you are interested in any of my patterns or any of the patterns from other creators, they will all be in the description box below. So if you want a pattern test for either of those 2 plushies that I free-handed when I get around to writing the pattern, please be sure to follow my Instagram at astitchingwitch to follow along for when those release. Additionally, I would just love to have you over there. It's a lot of fun. I post a lot of silly content, a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of really, it's a good time. It's a good time. And I've been trying to grow my Instagram for a while now, since I used to primarily do all of my work on Twitter, and Twitter is a very different space from what it was back when the art community was thriving over there. So I would really, really love to have you guys over on Instagram as well. Before you head out, I would love to know in the comments which of these plushies is your favorite. I think for me, I just am so obsessed with that Drifloon. I can't believe it came out as big as it did. I'm really pleased. It was a labor of love, but I think it's gonna be a really fun attention grabber throughout the weekend. And honestly, I think I'll be a little sad to see it go. I think that's the biggest problem with this industry, is how attached I get to these plushies, especially when I am making things that already fall within like shows and movies and things that I really, really like. Like, get so attached. Like when I made the Sonic plushies at MomoCon, I was grieving them every time they sold because I knew they took so much work and I wasn't gonna sit down and make them again for myself. So be sure to check out that MomoCon crochet video if you would like to see a more anime focused set of plushies and patterns, or if you wanna see how they performed at the market, be sure to watch my MomoCon Artist Alley vlog because I have that up as well. And I take you through the whole weekend. You can see what sold, what didn't sell, what came home with me, and it'll give you maybe a better idea of what you should make for your markets. Be sure to take all of this with a grain of salt. Every market is different. Sometimes my best-selling plushies at one are the ones that nobody gives any attention to at the next one, so it really just depends, but I think it's really fun to keep it fresh and to try new things, and that is my goal in making these videos, is hopes that maybe you'll discover something new that you didn't consider making yourself until you saw it back here. If you had a good time here, I would absolutely love to have you like and subscribe so that you can hang out with me for the future of my journey here on YouTube, since I am just starting out. I will have some excellent vlogs coming throughout the fall. I am booked and busy. You can find me at FanExpo Chicago this weekend in the Artist Alley booth AP12. If you come from my YouTube, please come say hi. I would love to give you some freebies as a thank you for your support. Same with my Instagram. If you follow my Instagram, I will have free goodies for you available there. I've probably said it 3 times already, but I will say it one more time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really love having you here, and I hope to see you back. I hope you have a great day and have fun making some of these cuties for yourself. Bye.